here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend. A couple really cool sales, some fast sales, some things that took longer to sell than expected. I always like being able to talk to you about those kind of things, but excited to be able to bring you in and kind of talk about what I got, how long I had it for, what it sold for, and really just like bring you into that part of my process. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, it is like super late today. I am fresh back from the airport. I had a 5:30 a.m. flight this morning. I was back home visiting my family, so I am like on the razor's edge late right now. So with that being said, we got lots to get through, so why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. So the first thing we got going here, which is a super cool thing, this is a vintage jacket from St. John's Bay. This is definitely 90s, and I picked it up just because of the style. But the kind of crazy thing is, I mean, this is something that I would have picked up just based on the style alone, but when I got it home and I started searching for this specific jacket, all that kept coming up was this still shot of Phoebe Buffay, like from Friends, wearing this jacket. So that's like an added bonus. Obviously, if you ever have anything that you found that is, you know, something that's been worn on screen by somebody, like use those keywords. Friends, of course, is like a big one, right? You want to, like, everybody loves Friends. It's trending again. It's trending again with Gen Z, despite the fact that Friends has got to be closing in on 30 years old, which is an absolutely crazy thought to me. Honest to God, where does the time go? But this thing is suede. It's got like a Sherpa lining. It's a very like Swiss look to it. And again, it's the kind of thing I would have picked up based on style alone. This was just a bonus. Any kind of embroidered suede jacket I'm on board for, especially when you find it at the bins. But I think, surprising to nobody, I had a lot of interest in this coat. Give this guy a double layer of the poly nailers, just in case. When you're dealing with vintage suede, that's not something you can go out and like buy on a lunch break. Give a little extra protection there. So I had this listed for $89, and I had it listed for just under 2 months. I got an offer for $74.50, which I gladly accepted with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $69.94. This was just such a cool find, and I'm so happy that this is going on to a new home. Next up here, I've got this cute little dress from Free People. I'm not quite sure if this is a tunic or a dress. I think the length kind of lends it to both, but super cute, navy blue with the wide sleeves. It's got these huge pockets in front. It's in great condition, and the funny thing is this is a size 4, and I don't know if I've ever seen like a number sized dress that wasn't like a formal dress from Free People. I feel like that's kind of unusual. Let me know, have you ever seen that? Usually it's small, medium, large, you know, extra small, etc. But this was a size 4. I'm trying to think, and I can't think of any other times I've ever found a number sized dress from Free People. And guys, if I feel like I'm moving a little quick, I am. I have a lot to ship here, and when I say I am running late, I am sweating getting to the post office today, So I had this listed for $32 for about 7 months. This took a little while to sell. It was a size 4, so I'm not super surprised about that. Got an offer for $28, which I gladly accepted, and with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $21.40. And I hope she loves it. I was happy to be moving this on. Cute little dress. Next up is this little boho top from Lucky brand. I like finding these kind of boho tops from Lucky. I don't pick up everything I see from Lucky, and I see a lot of it at the bins. I do like the boho tops, specifically in larger sizes. I don't find them much, but when I do, I jump on them. And it's not something that's gonna sell for like $40 or anything, but there is a market for them. They do sell pretty quick for a decent profit, as long as you're sourcing it at like the right price. You know, something like this, if you find a 2X boho top for $3.99 at your local Goodwill, like I would feel pretty comfortable picking that up. $6.99, $7.99, maybe not so much, but if you're sourcing it at the bins, or if you're sourcing it for, you know, $4 or under, I would pretty confidently pick it up. I would not say the same about smaller sizes. You know, your smalls, extra smalls, mediums, they just don't move nearly as well. But if you find a larger size, I would say pick it up. They do move pretty quickly. So this one I had listed for $28. It was just under a month, and I got an offer for $23.80, which I did accept. With the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $22.80. Hope she loves it. These kind of things, like I said, are usually in and out of my closet within a couple weeks. Next up, this was a fun one. And this was one I kind of thought might take a little while to sell. This is vintage Juicy Couture, brand new with tags. This like long line silhouette tells you everything you need to know. I like this color. I feel like this was kind of a perfect storm in that it was not only brand new with tags, it was kind of a neutral color that people are doing today. I feel like if this was hot pink, while it would have been a little bit more like true to the era that this was made, I don't necessarily think it would have sold as fast. I think actually, and this is obviously made in the USA, let me know if any of you are familiar. I'm pretty sure that the newer Juicy stuff is not made in the US. I think it's made in China now. Let me know if you know. Pretty sure that that's the case though. So just an easy way to tell if you're seeing older or newer Juicy Couture. And if you ever find one of the like old Juicy Coutures with like the block letters, the block letter tag, definitely grab it. I've had a few pieces like that over the years. And I'll see if I can put a picture, of one of the tags up here. Anything like that from like 92, 93, so kind of before they really blew up, sells in like a heartbeat. I don't see it that often, but it is always made very, very well. And I will snap that up, and I would comfortably pay up for that if I see it at a more expensive store. So anyway, this I had for just under 3 months. I had it listed for $48 and it popped through as a full price sale. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $36.05. So hope they love this. Such a fun little relic from 20 years ago. Next up, this is such a cool thing, and I had a feeling that this was gonna sell quickly. This is, I think it's called like a swim robe from a company called True Destinations. It looks like this is the kind of stuff that they do. It's kind of resort wear. But this is like a lightweight cotton, and it's got like ruffle bell sleeves and a ruffle at the hem, but then it wraps like a robe. So you would wear this over a swimsuit, and this would take you right from poolside to like cocktails. So it's kind of a cool thing. I've never seen anything like it before. I love the colors and I love the concept of this. So definitely something that's gonna be on my radar. No idea how to fold something like this. This belt is attached, like the little T plastics that you usually see price tags hung on, and I don't wanna disconnect that. So I'm just kind of doing the best I can. I usually like to take the belt off and like wrap it around the folded garment, but can't really do that since it is attached, and I'd like to keep it as, fresh from the store condition as humanly possible. But this was such a fun piece. I've never heard of a swim robe like this before. I've seen the like kimonos, I've seen the caftans, but I've never even heard of anything like this. I just think it's so cute. So anyway, I had this listed for $34 and I had it listed for, I think it was 6 days, just under 1 week. And I got an offer for $27, which I gladly accepted. It seemed to be about what they were going for on the resale market, somewhere between like 20 and 30. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $26. This was a Mercari sale. So I hope she loves it, because that is so cute and something very different. I don't think anybody else at the pool is going to be wearing something like that. Next up, I love finding Eileen Fisher. This is a beautiful, just light as a feather, linen kind of poncho top. I don't know how well this is showing on camera because it is all quite light, but it's peach, and then it has kind of like a splatter ombre down to a cream bottom. This is in basically brand new condition. Eileen Fisher is just, I will pick up pretty much anything I find from her. I obviously prefer finding larger sizes in Eileen Fisher. She does tend to cater towards a more mature crowd, and we see, there's just more of a demand for a larger size. And this was a size extra large, but honestly, I will pick up pretty much anything from Eileen Fisher because her stuff, it's beautifully made. The textiles are always top notch. The styles are always really classic. I don't think I've ever found a piece from Eileen Fisher that I would consider dated. Like, I just don't think that exists in her style. And her pieces retail are like wildly expensive. This is just A super simple, oversized linen top, this probably retailed close to $300. So it's something that if you are looking for some good like investment pieces for your own wardrobe, obviously look for Eileen Fisher. Definitely look for Eileen Fisher on the secondhand market, because like you'll get, you know, for somebody like me, I'm sourcing this at the bins, I'm getting a good sales price on this, but for the person who's buying it, this is 90% off. So keep your eyes out if this is your vibe. So I had this listed at $38 for just under 1 month. And I got an offer for $32, and with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $30.04. So definitely, again, whether you are sourcing or whether you are shopping for yourself, Eileen Fisher is just a win. It's just one of those classic forever brands. Speaking of high quality brands, this is a linen t-shirt from Vince. This is a super simple little t-shirt. This is probably not something I would have picked up at like the full price thrift, like if they were charging $4.99 for this. I mean, Vince is one of those brands, just like Eileen Fisher, that is wildly expensive. This was probably over $100 if I have to guess in terms of their retail price. And it is stuff that does resell quite well, but something like this is not gonna resell for much more than like 20, 25 bucks. But of course, if you see a more significant piece, especially if you're seeing like the newer pieces, you're seeing the newer tags, pick it up, and I would say feel pretty comfortable paying up a little bit for it. Again, Vince is one of those brands that you forget how expensive they are until you are at Saks Fifth Avenue and you see some of their pieces and you're like, right, $500 sweaters. But this was 100% linen, so it's got that like gorgeous drape to it. It's a pretty blue color. Honestly, I had a little trouble figuring out whether this was men's or women's, because the cut was very like, it seemed very unisex, like it was not tapered at all in the waist. Again, at the bins, I'm gonna pick this kind of stuff up all day. So I had this listed for $30 for just 1 month, and I got an offer for $22, which I gladly accepted. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.95. Hope I love it. This is such a good, like, classic basic piece that's a little bit elevated. Like, if you have never had a piece of linen jersey on your body, I highly recommend it. It feels like a dream. Next up here, we've got this cute little dress from ATM. I think the designer's name is Anthony Thomas Melillo. And this is, again, like a linen cotton slub blend with a little bit of a chalk stripe to it. And the reason it's kind of hanging weird is it's got this really cool chunky rope belt, side pockets. I mean, this is definitely like an elevated basic. It's super classic, elevated materials, elevated cut, you know, and the bells and whistles, right? This is just a little jersey dress, and there's pockets that are finished nicely. If you are outsourcing, the tag on this just says ATM, so keep your eyes out for it. And again, this is one of those brands that might move a little bit slower, because it's not necessarily a brand that everybody in the world knows, but it is definitely an if you know brand, and people who know the brand understand what it is. It is something that will usually fetch a pretty solid price. Just, I think last week sold a little cashmere short sleeve sweater. I wanna say that went for 45 bucks, maybe a little bit more. But again, just like an Eileen Fisher, just like a Vince, I've never really had anything from ATM that didn't have like just really high quality fabrics, elevated basic style. He's definitely sold at Saks Fifth Avenue. I want to say he sold at Bergdorf as well. Super spendy. This was probably well over $200, if not closer to $300 or $400, to give you an idea of his retail price. So I had this listed for about 8 months. Again, this was a slower sale. It was a size small, and I had it listed for $38. I think I might have dropped the price on this at some point at the end of the summer. I'm almost positive I did. But at the time of sale, I had it listed at $38, got an offer for $32, which I gladly accepted. I was ready to move this on after 8 months. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $24.60. I do absolutely love ATM stuff. All right, next up here. Now this is something I never thought I would see at the bins. So this is a pair of sweatshirts from a brand called Mad Happy. That's all one word, and you're usually gonna see it in this format, right? Just plain black sweatpants or plain black sweatshirt with a white embroidery of the logo, just like that. So this is a streetwear brand, very expensive. These retail, like the sweatpants retail for about $150. So they're definitely spendy. They're beautifully made. This is 100% cotton. They feel very, very high quality. I mean, for $100, they better be. But it's one of those brands that does sell out. It's in high demand, and they resell really quick. You'll figure that out in about 2 seconds. And I mean, I've never seen it at the thrift. I've certainly never seen it at the bins. It's super current, right? So it's one of those things that I just wouldn't expect to find. So I had these listed for just under 1 week, and I had them listed for $85. And I got an offer for $75.65, which I gladly accepted. Again, this was within a week. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $64.21. So guys, keep your eyes out for it in the bins. Let me know if you have ever seen it while you were outsourcing. Have you ever picked up a piece? Have you sold it? Let me know how you did with it. Definitely a bolo, and definitely not a bolo that I like expected to see. Next up is this cute wrap shirt. This is from Scotch and Soda. Now, Scotch and Soda is one of those brands that is more expensive than you ever expect it to be. I want to say that they're based out of the Netherlands, if memory serves me right. Really nice fabrics. They have a very distinct style, but every time I go in that store, I'm floored at the prices. So this is from one of their lines called Maison Scotch, which I believe is just a women's line. A lot of their stuff has kind of an androgynous look to it, but this probably retailed over $100. So just to give you a concept, this is just a cute little wrap shirt, faux wrap shirt out of a really nice ribbed like tencel. So it has that smooth kind of slinky feel to it, but it's thicker, right? It's a thicker tencel, but it's not something that I find a whole lot of. I think I've only found maybe 2 or 3 pieces over the years. Let me know if you have found Scotch and Soda. Do you do well with it? Do you pick it up? Do you pay up for it? I'm kind of on the fence as to whether I would pick up certain pieces. Obviously, if you find a jacket, if you find one of their more substantial pieces, that comfortably pay up for that. But when you're dealing with like just a t-shirt or something like this, it's a little bit less of a significant piece. Maybe. I mean, this did sell well, but it did take a little bit of time. So I had this listed for just over 1 year. So let me know what you would do here. I had it listed for just over 1 year, and I had it listed for $36. And despite the fact that I had it listed for a year, it popped off as a full price sale. So that's a little give and take there. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $31.62. So super happy that that went as a full price sale. I mean, I wish it moved a little bit quicker. It's something I will still absolutely pick up at the bins price, but let me know what you would do. Would you pick that up at $5.99? If you knew it was gonna sit around for a year, let me know. So next up is this cute little camisole from Cosabella. Cosabella is an Italian designer of lingerie. This little chemise is like a perfect example of very, very cute, very high quality fabrics. Really simple designs, very timeless designs, but well made. This probably retailed, I think that they're around like $150. Like they're very, very expensive. So definitely a brand to be on the lookout for if you do this kind of stuff. I know that's not for everybody, but I definitely, at least for like chemises, little nightgowns, 100% I will pick up Cosabella pieces. This was a really nice like Pima cotton with some little webbing trim on the bust and around the rib cage. But I had this listed for just about 1 month, and I had it listed for $28. And I got an offer for $22, which I gladly accepted. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19.71. I don't find Cosabella all that often, but when I do, I always snap it up. Next up here is a piece that I thought would have moved a little bit quicker, but it didn't. This is from Prana. This is a sweater. It's like a lightweight hooded sweater. Prana is one of those brands that used to sell really, really well for me, and it has slowed down quite a bit. It's 100% organic cotton. I feel like Prana has kind of been overtaken, at least in the resale market, by like Vuori. For a while, Prana was kind of it. And that is no longer the case. Although I will say their stuff is no less nice. I mean, it's still, this is again, lightweight organic cotton, really nice little sweater, but definitely not something I would maybe exercise a little bit of caution if you are outsourcing and you see stuff like this at the full price bins. This was like a men's sweater. So at my like local thrift stores, this would have been like $7, $8, $9. And knowing what I know now, I almost definitely would not have paid that for something like this. In the bins, again, that's always a different situation if you're getting it for $1, $2, $3, but you know, it just gives you that freedom to work at kind of a lower price point. But I would exercise caution. Let me know, are you having the same experience with Prana? I don't know if it's just me, but for a little while there, I could not keep Prana in my closet. Now it's very slow. It's a very slow sale. So I had this listed at $28. I had it for about 10 months. I did lower the price on this, I believe twice. So at the time of sale, it was $28. I got an offer for $20. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.40. I was kind of keen to get this moving on. It is a great little piece. I hope he loves it. And this probably retailed for like $140. Prana is still very expensive, but yeah, just definitely a slowdown on the resale market for stuff like that. Next up, a brand I'll pick up pretty much anytime I see it. This is Ted Baker. And Ted Baker is one of those brands that I like finding women's pieces. They sell very well for me. Certain men's pieces do better than others. I just thought that this was really sharp. This is like a heavier weight shawl collar button-down cardigan. This is like an elevated casual piece. Ted Baker is super expensive. This was probably a couple $100, $2 or $3, somewhere around that range. Definitely a brand to be on the lookout for if you are shopping for yourself or somebody in your life, because the stuff is really high quality. And again, I sourced this at the bin, so I'm getting a good profit on it. But if you are shopping for something like this, please don't pay $300 for it. You can get it on the secondhand market for like a fraction of that cost. In great shape. Sold comps on stuff like this were somewhere between like 30 and 50 bucks. But this I did have for a little bit of a long time. It was a smaller size, so I was definitely interested in getting this moving. It's also a bulkier piece, so I always love getting stuff like this moved on from my closet. I love making room for more treasures. So I had this listed at $42. I had this for about 8 months. It was a smaller size, so I'm not super surprised that it took so long to sell. But anyway, I got an offer for $30, which I did accept. I was, again, interested in getting this moved on. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $26.69. And I hope he loves it. Next up, now this was a brand I was not familiar with when I picked it up, but it felt so nice, so I grabbed it. This is Danielle Basi. It's made in Italy. It is a wool blend, so it's not 100% wool, but it is lovely. This to me looks rich. You know, it's that perfect oatmeal color cable knit sweater with that half zip neckline. I feel like this is the new like formal wear for men. You don't see as many suit and ties happening anywhere. It's more stuff like this. You'll see like the Patagonia Better sweater out at like nicer restaurants. So this is just a good versatile piece. And it's still cozy and warm and all the things that a good sweater should be. But Danielle Basi, when I first picked it up, I thought that this was going to be one of those brands that's like $600 because it just has that look. It looks really luxury. The tag was nice, felt nice, the look was nice, very classic, but not as like luxe as I thought it was, at least in terms of like pricing. But it really is a gorgeous sweater. Perfect for like the holiday season. So definitely a brand to keep your eyes out for if you are in the market for something like this, because you can really get the look for less, and the quality is really nice too. So it's not like lacking there at all. So I had this listed and I looked on my spreadsheet and I had a different thing in my spreadsheet than I had written down. So I can't remember if this was 34 or 38 that I had it listed for, but I had it listed for about 6 months. And I got an offer for $25, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19 even. So I hope this goes on to keep somebody nice and toasty this winter. And finally, we've got this great puffy vest that I picked up. This is from Bogner Fire and Ice. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Bogner, you should get familiar with Bogner. It's a very, very expensive ski brand. That is the logo. The B is the Bogner logo, and then you have the Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice is the line that this is a part of. Fire and Ice is their more kind of like fashion-focused label, but it's still, it's still Bogner, so they're still like performance first. So it's not like there's a lack of quality here. It's just a little bit more fashion than function in terms of like the aesthetics of it. Bogner is like wildly, wildly expensive. If you were to get a ski jacket from Bogner, you're looking at a minimum of $500 or $600. And like the quality is there. Bogner stuff is built to last. Like I love when I go out to the ski hill and I'll see people wearing like a 1985 Bogner one-piece ski suit, and like not in an ironic way, not in a like, I'm wearing this to look funny. They're wearing it in a like, I bought this for $1,000 in 1988 and I told myself this was going to be the last ski garment I ever bought, and I'm holding to it, right? You see that quite a bit because it is truly investment level pricing here. And Fire and Ice is slightly less expensive, but like only slightly. Where a Bogner ski jacket would start at $500 or $600 minimum, Fire and Ice might start at $400 minimum. But something like this was a down vest, this probably was a good $550. Like it's no joke expensive. You know, ski brands are one of those things that like, you kind of have to know which ones to pick up to know which ones you'll get a good profit on. Let me know if you want me to do a video on that, because I can talk for hours on ski brands and snowboard brands. But for right now, just put Bogner and Bogner Fire and Ice on your list. Do not leave them behind if you see them, and comfortably pay up, because again, incredibly expensive. $500–600 minimum. So I had this listed for about 8 months. It was a smaller size and it's a vest. And I had it listed for $88 and it popped through as a full price sale with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $69.40. Seeing something like this at the bins, like I'm so happy that I was able to grab that, because that should not at all in any way, shape or form be in the waste stream. So I hope she gets a lot of wear out of that. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I get my work done. Thank you for dealing with me in my post 5:30 a.m. flight gloriousness. But I have got to get moving. I have completely lost daylight. I've got about 20 minutes to get these things over to the post office. So guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. But without further ado, guys, have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you in the next one.